Okay, let me just make sure that this is going correctly. All right. Now, for all of you who are wondering about the whole fear of germs thing, I got a little video for you here. I don't claim any copyright to the content, but this man really tells it how it is. George Collin, you definitely warned everybody. You truly did. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play the video for you.
What Americans do now, they're always willing to trade away a little of their freedom in exchange for the feeling, the illusion of security. What we have now is a completely neurotic population obsessed with security and safety and crime and drugs and cleanliness and hygiene and germs. There's another thing, germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from in this country? Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily, so now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol. It's true. It's true. It's true. Well, they don't want you to get an infection. And you can see their point. Wouldn't want some guy to go to hell and be sick. It would take a lot of the sportsmanship out of the whole execution. Fear of germs, why these... Besides, what do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So listen. If you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not going to be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs, what are you going to do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid shit? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get sick, you're going to die, and you're going to deserve it because you're fucking weak and you got a fucking weak immune system. Let me tell you a true story about immunization, okay? When I was a little boy in New York City in the 1940s, we swam in the Hudson River, and it was filled with raw sewage, okay? We swam in raw sewage, to cool off. And at that time, the big fear was polio. Thousands of kids died from polio every year. But you know something? In my neighborhood, no one ever got polio. No one, ever. You know why? Because we swam in raw sewage. It strengthened our immune systems. The polio never had a prayer. We were tempered in raw shit. And you know something? In spite of all that so-called risky behavior, I never get infections. I don't get them. I don't get colds. I don't get flu. I don't get headaches. I don't get upset stomachs. And you know why? Because I got a good, strong immune system, and it gets a lot of practice.
All right. Anyway, I claim no copyright for the content shown in this video, but I'm doing my part to spread knowledge, as I'm sure many others are doing the same. And this is the whole thing about the media, is that they're paid off to, misinform you on how you can actually be prepared when it comes to certain things, and as well as, misleading information from when there's actually, something that was purposely placed within society, but pretty much. And with the virus, this is basically the case. Basically, there were people who just purposely put this here and you want to know why? Well, they were paid off. Let me tell you something about a trend that's been happening. The same group of individuals who has started all of this corruptive bullshit, right? I've noticed to see a trend how they love to cut people off after they sign them into their shit. The farmers who spread, chemical-based substances, and they were in hazmat suits. I don't know how many farmers were, okay? No telling how many were, But the crop salesmen and all that stuff, the ones who do the crops and all that stuff, they spray those pathogens on there, and they're not in the overalls like they used to be. No, they are in hazmat suits. Are all of them like this? No, but a large percentage of them are. And if you're wondering why that is, well, that's just a whole part of the GMO agenda. That's a part of the whole GMO agenda, man. If you want to know about that, well, basically, the problem is that you got to be careful with the seeds you get too, because apparently they genetically modified some seeds to where they have pesticides in them. And basically, overseas, GMO related seeds or foods were banned because apparently there was a situation where butterflies were dying off. And they figured that it wasn't just the butterflies that were starting to avoid these plants and stuff. It was other insects too as well, because they couldn't be eaten. They couldn't. Now, the body structure of an insect is very small. So the fact that it wouldn't take that long to kill them off like that, it makes you wonder what's going to happen if a human individual as large as our body structures are, how long it would take to be festering ourselves with GMO, to where how much it would take for us to croak over, I'm not saying this to sprout fear. I'm saying this to sprout knowledge and awareness so that people will be able to protect themselves from these criminals who seek to literally just promote their destructive and corruptive behavior amongst the citizens of many different countries, many different states, many different villages, towns, cities, you name it. If it isn't that, so honestly, I know a lot of people are planning on like going seed shopping, but be mindful where you get your seeds from, because they may be GMO related seeds. Just be careful. Do your research. Find a good salesman that sells organic seeds. If you can find some people who are what's that name I'm looking for? Amish. The Amish farmers always have organic seeds. If if you have an Amish friend, an Amish family member anywhere, get in contact with them, and you be able to find someone who's actually living off the land and able to provide you with the seeds you need. Honestly, from the looks of things, I think the best method for us to do is just to deconstruct, man. Deconstruct ourselves from this technological environment, because it's not gonna do us any good remaining in it, They already put the 5G up, which, they illegally did before it even got passed. So that's why you already know they didn't want people seeing where this stuff was. They didn't want them to see. I bet there are going to be some you may spot, but they're going to be some so well hidden you won't even be able to find it. But what people need to do is record the effects of what this had. If you see this thing killing anything around it, you need to record that and put that on the net. And leave that label. This is what 5G actually does, what they're not telling you. Honestly, at this point, man, anybody who's like either not waking up to the truth, you got to understand, with them putting that weapon up and all that stuff, man, like everybody is infected with this stuff that they have been putting in the chemtrails. Everyone. Us as targeted individuals, we know what this stuff does. We know it's remote neural monitoring, and we also know damn well it's remote manipulation. So when you see people who you recently talked to, who you tried to wake up, and all of a sudden they just, oh no, it's nothing, everything's fine. It's the enemy pulling the strings behind that shit. Use the knowledge that you have gained from other targeted individuals who have spoken out. Use these methods to help wake up as many people as you can, because this is the only way we're going to be able to do that. But even without that, many other people are starting to wake up. But you got to understand, these people are also going to need to know the knowledge that we know, that we've been using to shield and protect ourselves for all these years, that how we survived. And honestly, in the coming days, there's no telling what else is going to happen. There is no telling. But I know one thing. I'm not finna sell my soul to the devil for nothing like that, man. Not for no money, not for no trinkets. And again, Again, the devil betrays his own. The devil betrays his own, okay? It's so sick and twisted because it literally tries to project its own energy out onto innocent people and convert them into something of its own nature. And we were not created to be that way. We weren't. I believe when the Most High put us all on this earth, man. I believe when we were put here, we were put here to be tested, to test our faith, to see just how strong it would be. But that doesn't mean that the protection was never there. The Most High, Yahusha, the Most High and Yahusha has always since been there, watching over us all these years. I know because I'm here today to be able to tell you this now. I can't count how many times where many different things could have instantly ended my life, or many things could have instantly put me in a gutter, but miraculously, I literally just rose above it and got out of that situation. They're going to do the best they can to make situations as bad as they possibly can. They're going to do as much destruction as possible. You need to understand the devil is here to steal and kill and destroy. What have we been seeing these gang stalkers do of late? Don't their actions like lead to people dying, people committing suicide? Because I think it does. And that's just for the few who are unfortunately were not informed about the fact that, well, fear is your greatest enemy. I want people to basically go on YouTube and look up videos if you got the time, right? And of course, we're going to have the time. But I want you to look up videos that help you, frequency videos that will help you raise your vibration. If you do this, what this will do is give you more of a resistance to the RNM effects, the remote manipulation effects. I guess this, RMN, not RNM, I guess. Anyway, there's that. As far as anything else, man, they are really desperately trying to control the weather, though, of late. I've seen like a lot of vape trails lately, but sign is not the sun, but the sun is still shining through. Again, for anybody who has not seen it yet, I've left a link to a sci-fi movie that you definitely want to check out. I would love to show it here, but they will take it down the minute I do. Okay? They desperately don't want you to see that. So anybody, I'm also going to leave a message on the guide channel stating that that there about that there's a clip on my other channel that they all need to see, and the link to it is in the description. I'm gonna definitely leave that there. But they have really been trying to deconstruct our information. But you want to know why they're doing all of this? Because they are afraid. They are afraid because because in order for them to pull all this crap out of their ass, in order for them to do all of this, they must expose themselves. What do you think they've been doing these past few days? They have been exposing themselves left and right, and it's becoming obvious. Again, the trait of these oh wow, it stopped.